All right, let's jump right into something that's, well, it's a total paradox, right? It kind of flips everything we think we know on its head. You know how we're always looking for the easy way out, the shortcut? But what if? What if the hard path is actually the secret to an easier life? That's exactly what we're going to unpack. Okay, check this out. This quote, it's really the whole idea in a nutshell. Avoiding hard things makes life hard. Facing hard things makes life easy. Just let that sink in for a second. It sounds so simple, but when you really think about it, it's saying that the very thing we do to avoid problems, running away from them, is actually what creates them. Wild, right? I know what you're thinking. That just feels wrong, doesn't it? I mean, our brains are literally wired to find the comfy spot, to take the path of least resistance. So the big question is, how? How on earth can leaning into the hard stuff possibly make life easier in the long run? It just doesn't seem to add up. Well, let's break it down. All right, so first up, let's talk about the path we all kind of default to, right? The trap of comfort. We're going to look at the logic of the easy path and figure out why choosing what feels good right now can actually set us up for a world of hurt later on. Yeah, this is it. This is our go-to move. The easy path is all about that short-term comfort. You know what I'm talking about? Putting off that big project, dodging that awkward conversation you know you need to have, or just hitting snooze instead of going for that run. It feels so good in the moment. It's that instant relief, that immediate gratification. You're comfortable, for now. But, and this is a huge but, here's the hidden cost. This is the catch. Those things we avoided, they don't just disappear into thin air. Nope. That project deadline starts screaming at you, which is way more stressful. That conversation you skipped, now the problem in the relationship has gotten bigger. It's festering. See, avoiding the hard thing doesn't get rid of it. It just puts it on pause. And when it comes back, it's usually bigger and meaner. Okay, so if that's the trap, what's the alternative? What happens if we actually, intentionally lean into the tough stuff instead of running for the hills? This, my friends, is where the real magic happens. Let's talk about the benefit of the hard path. Now, this path, it's not free. It has an upfront cost. And that cost is effort. It's that short-term struggle. It's pure discipline, really. It's actually having that tough conversation. It's opening up the laptop and starting that monster project. It's dragging yourself to the gym when every part of you wants to stay on the couch. It's hard. And that discomfort, that initial struggle, is the exact reason we usually run the other way. But oh, the reward. This is the payoff. By tackling that thing head-on, you actually solve it. That tough talk, it leads to resolution, maybe even makes things better. You finish that project early, bam, your future self is thanking you. That workout, it literally builds your energy for tomorrow. Every single time you face an obstacle, you're not just solving one problem, you're building the muscle to handle the next one. And that is what makes life genuinely easier over time. Okay, so let's put these two ideas right next to each other for a direct comparison. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is, a choice. It's the discipline of choosing, moment by moment, what kind of future you're building for yourself. It really is this simple when you see it laid out. Two paths, two very different destinies. You can avoid challenges, right? That gets you some comfort right now, but you end up paying for it with interest in long-term struggle. Or you can face challenges. That's going to cost you some short-term difficulty for sure. But the payback is huge. It's long-term ease. It's a clear trade-off, isn't it? And the choice you make, well, that's everything. So let's give this whole concept a name, something we can grab onto. Let's call it the discipline of hardship. And to be super clear, this is not about looking for pain or making your life miserable just for the heck of it. No way. It's about the principle of actively taking on the obstacles that are already in your way. It's about building that resilience, those skills, so that life becomes, well, easier. All right, we've looked at both sides of the coin, so what's the ultimate takeaway here? What's the one thing you can walk away with and actually use, like today? Here it is, the bottom line. True growth requires confronting obstacles, period. If you want to get stronger, if you want to become more capable, if you want life to actually feel easier down the road, there are no shortcuts. You can't go around the hard stuff. You have to go through it. Because that constant search for comfort, it's the biggest enemy of growth. And that brings us to the final question. And this one is all about you. So, what hard thing will you choose? Look, this isn't just some abstract idea. It's a real choice you get to make, maybe even in the next hour. So think about it. What's that one thing you've been putting off? That one thing you've been avoiding? What if tackling that is the very first step on your own hard path to an easier life?